Let me tell you why this keyboard should be one of your top picks if you're looking at for a decent 75% layout keyboard with a knob. Hey, what is up people? Welcome back to the channel and another day, another keyboard. And in this review, we will talk about arguably one of the best 75% hot swappable aluminum keyboard with a knob. And it's actually from one of our sponsors. This is Mechland's BLADE75. If you guys don't know, Mechland is a website where you have a wide variety of keyboards, switches, and keycap brands to choose from. And in this video, we will tackle Mechland's very own. And I also have here a discount code that will save you 10% on your next purchase. For full disclosure, Mechland has sent this keyboard out for me to try, but like all my other videos, I will always give you guys my unbiased thoughts and opinion. This keyboard has a 75% ANSI layout with the knob on the top right corner of the board, which by now has become a crowd favorite, so that's a plus. It also has a really nice tactile feedback with minimal wobble. It also has the same finish and color as the base itself. This keyboard has a really nice, really catchy neon green colorway, and I'm all for it. The first time plugging this in or turning it on, it's in this pulsing effect like it's telling you it's alive. Anyways, the color of the board is kind of like a gunmetal matte finish. Always a fan of matte black finishes, and I think it gives the keyboard quite an impression. The board is priced around 5,300 Philippine peso or roughly $110 US. If you plan on buying this keyboard, the links for everything will always be on the description down below. This entire keyboard is aluminum and it feels very hefty. It weighs around 1,600 grams, fully built with switches and keycaps, so this keyboard being my travel companion is out of the picture. The side profile, you can see the really thick top base that separates it from the bottom. The edges are thick, the left and right sides are almost as big as the Monsgeek M1s. The top and bottom edges, not so much, but looking at the front, you can clearly say that this keyboard is just visually and physically heavy. This keyboard also has a really bright underglow. They are also soft glowing despite the switches not having LED diffusers. Flipping this keyboard over, we have this massive glass mirror with a really huge Mechland's logo on the middle. At first glance, I thought this was a really shiny aluminum backplate, but it was glass. You also have 4 rubber feet to prevent the keyboard from moving around when you are using it. And also, there are no screw holes on the back, making the keyboard look like one solid piece. The typing angle is okay, almost identical to Monsgeek M1 V3. For the ports, we have them on the top side of the board. We have here the USB-C port for charging and wired mode, and beside that is the switch for the 2.4 GHz wireless connectivity and Bluetooth. And just a little bit to the left is the magnetic dongle holder. This keyboard also has NK-RO or NK rollover and 1000 Hz of polling rate, both of which are features best for gaming. And this being a pre-built keyboard, it came with keycaps and switches already installed. The keycaps are double shot PBT chair profile that are absolutely wonderful in terms of feel and sound. They are neon green on dark gray, neon green on black, and black on neon greens. They also have this really nice texture to it that improves grip. Also mounted are Mechland's Verdant switches, which are 5-pin linear switches. They sound and feel really good. No specs written on the Mechland's official website about these switches, but they have an actuation force of 42 grams and it bottoms out at 55 grams. It also has a pre-travel of 1.8 millimeters all the way down to 3.8 millimeters. They are also mounted on a 3-pin to 5-pin hot swappable sockets. Opening this keyboard, as you may have noticed on the back of the board, there are no screw holes, which again makes it look sleek. The screws that holds the top and bottom frame are actually on the top side between the cutouts on the polycarbonate plate. Looking at the top frame, it is very solid, but I do have to be honest honest, upon closer look there are minor imperfections regarding the finish. Well, at least they are on the inside part of the frame, and as always, don't forget to disconnect the wires that connects the daughter board to the PCB to avoid unwanted aftermarket repairs. The polycarbonate plate and the PCB is held together with 5 screws on the back. Okay, so here we have the 1.5mm thickness polycarbonate plate with flex cuts. You can also see these kind of like translucent stabilizers which are generously lubed, and I personally think they sound really good out of the box. This keyboard is also gasket mounted, but the gaskets aren't exactly for the plate. It is actually for the PCB. Mechland went to putting the gasket mounting design on the PCB, steered away from the traditional gasket mounting solutions we know where we put the gaskets on the plate, but I'm here for it. The PCB also has a lot of flex cuts, and considering the PCB is very thin, the flexing was crazy. I'm not an avid fan of flex cuts on the PCB, mainly because flex cuts on the plate are already enough, but then again, we have this whole gaskets on the PCB situation, so I think it's only fair to give it more flex cuts than the plate. For the dampeners, we have a Perron plate foam, an XP switch pad, PET pad, a generic base foam, and a thin foam. This is the base of the keyboard. As you can see, we also have those imperfections on the finish just like the ones on the top frame. Asking me about it, it's not such a big deal if you do not perform frequent aftermarket modding because the outside finish is great, one of the most interesting finishes I've seen. I just want to tell you that the imperfections on the inside are there. Here we have the battery, a 4000 mAh capacity one, and beside that is a daughter board and the magnetic dongle holder. Just bring this board back together, and here is the sound test. Having sound tests with foams really gives the keyboard a deeper sound profile, of course, while also having those clacks that we know and love. For the foamless sound test, it's just so good. It became very clacky and poppy just the way I like it, and even with the foams, the typing bounce was also good. Probably because of the flex cuts and the unconventional gasket mounting solutions that this keyboard has. The switch do feel very good, they feel very light, and with the short pre-travel, I can also recommend these switches for gaming. Another great keyboard from Mechland. Personally, I think that this keyboard is worth trying out. It is a great pre-built keyboard with great typing experience, and it's great sounding too out of the box. Despite its, imperfections on the inside, I don't find it as a major deal breaker. Hey, if you like this review, hitting that like button will be very appreciated, and subscribe to see more contents or reviews like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.